Main points of the sermon at Benares. You'll have to understand what is there in the chapter, and this video is specially for those students who don't understand Hindi. So I'm going to tell you the main points, or you can say the development in the chapter, the sermon at Benares. What happened in the beginning and what is there in the chapter, you must understand all these things. And these things you can learn from the screen also. Just watch the screen properly and listen to me. You will be able to understand the full chapter. So, first of all, it is necessary to understand the meaning of sermon. What is sermon? Sermon is a religious, or you can say mortal talk. Generally, it is delivered by a religious leader. As both delivered his first sermon, the sermon at Benares. It means there both was talking about religious things, some mortal talk. So it is different from a lecture. Lecture is something different. Teaching is something different. The way I am teaching you, I am telling you the summary, I am telling you the story of the chapter. This is you can say it is lecture, or it is not a sermon. And sermon, if I tell you something important which can help you in your life, to improve your life, to you can say feel free from tension, anxieties, then it means I'm talking something religious. I'm talking something spiritual. This is called sermon. So I hope you might have understood the meaning of sermon. Now, the chapter, the sermon at Benares. Gautama Buddha, he was born in 563 BC and died in 483 BC. Now here, my dear students, you find out what is this BC and how it is decreasing instead of increasing. This is your my query or my question to you. Find out this. What is BC? Began life as a prince whose name was Siddharth Gautam. His name was Siddharth Gautam and he was born in a royal family in northern India. At the age of 12, when he was only 12 years old, he was sent away for schooling in the Hindu sacred scriptures, and for 4 years he had been there to get his education. After 4 years, he returned to home and married a princess. After marriage, they got a son and lived for 10 years as befitted royalty. So he enjoyed the life. He saw everything in the princely state because he was a prince. At about the age of 25, not this point, when he was 25, the prince shielded from the suffering of the world. He was uh, disturbed by the suffering of the world while going out for hunt. He saw a sick man. There are four things, my dear students. There are four things which compelled Siddharth, the prince, to live this princely life. And what were those? A sick man, then an aged man, then a funeral procession, and finally a monk who was begging for alms. These things completely moved him, And at once he left the world to seek enlightenment, to get knowledge. What is life? How we can live happy life? Because life is, you can say, ultimate. Death is ultimate. This is what Gautam Buddha wants us to know through the chapter, the sermon at Benares. And in the meantime, he wandered for 7 years in search of that enlightenment, in search of that knowledge, because he was not uh, feeling comfortable. He had different views, some complex ideas were coming in his mind. So, for 7 years, he has been wandering here and there and then sat under a peepal tree where he decided to stay until enlightenment came. That was his final decision that he will not stand up, he will not leave the place, and he will be sitting under the peepal tree to get enlightened. And enlightened after 7 days, he renamed the tree Bodhi tree. Peepal tree he renamed in his name Bodhi tree. What does it mean? Tree of wisdom, and began to teach, to share his new understandings with peoples. At that point he became and came to know as the Buddha, the enlightened. The Buddha preached his first sermon at the city of Benares, most holy place in northern India, situated on the river Ganga. That sermon has been preserved, and this chapter is being taken from that part. Now the another character came into the way. Kisa Gotami is a lady who had only one son. Kisa Gotami, remember this name? Kisagotami. Kisa Gotami, she had only one son and he died. In her grief, she was disturbed. She was shocked as she lost her son, the only son. She carried the dead child to all her neighbors, requesting her neighbors to give some medicine so that his son can regain. But nothing happened. People said she had lost her senses. The boy is dead. But she did not believe it. She did not believe it. At length, Kissa Gotami met a man who replied to her request, and the man said, inverted comma, I cannot give the medicine. The medicine means which can cure your son, but I know a physician who can. You can go and visit that physician. Do you know who was this physician? And the girl said, pray, tell me, please tell me, sir, who is it? And the man replied, go to Shakwani, the Buddha. Kissa Gotami repaired to Buddha and cried, Lord and Master, give me the medicine that will treat my son. She started requesting Buddha for medicine. Buddha answered, I want a handful of mustard seed. Can you bring some mustard seed for me? It was an easy task, but he put one condition. And when the girl, in her joy, promised to bring mustard seed, Buddha added one condition. Means the mustard seed must be taken. Take care, listen this sentence properly. The mustard seed must be taken from a house where no one has lost a child. husband, parent, friend. Poor Kisa Gotami now went from house to house, and the people pitied her and said, "Here is the mustard, you can take it." But then she asked, "Did a son, daughter, father, mother die in your family?" They answered her, "Alas, the living are few, but the dead are many. Do not remind us of our deepest grief." And there was no house, but some believed one died in it. So she could not bring the mustard what was required by Gautam Buddha. So what happened ultimately? Then she sat on a wayside on the road, and in the lights of the city, at last the darkness of the night reigned everywhere, and she tried to consider the fate of man and their lives. How selfish am I in my grief? Death is common. This is what Gautama wants Kisa Gotami to understand. That death is ultimate. Death is final. Yet in this valley of desolation, there is a path that leads into him who has surrendered all selfishness. Buddha said, "The life of mortal in the world is troubled and brief, combined with pain, for there is not many means." So this is how Kisa Gotami came to know the reality of life. Then she came out of her grief. And this is for everybody. Because who has come on this earth has to go. And if we start feeling sorry and weeping day by day, get sick. So to keep healthy yourself, always feel that who has come has to go. This is how you can get your peace of mind. There is no other way. So he who has drawn out arrow has become composed, will obtain peace of mind, and he will be free from sorrow and will be blessed. These were the main words delivered in the sermon at Benares by Gautam Buddha under the Bodhi tree, knowledge tree, people tree. So, what do we learn from this story? That as soon as we come to this earth, we have to go. And sooner you will understand this thing, better you will live your life happily. So I hope that you might have understood the gist, the main ideas, the main things in the chapter, the sermon at Benares. Still, if you feel that anything is not discussed by me, anything is left, write down in the comment box. Please subscribe the channel if you like the way I am teaching, because I am teaching everything with the help of movies, with the help of film, with the help of image, with the help of text, and you are listening to me at the same time you are reading, you are watching like a movie. And this is the only way to understand the things. In the last, compare the channel, principal sir. Compare the content, compare the method of teaching of your Guruji, principal sir, because I have been teaching students since 1991. So thank you very much for being with us for this summary in English, the sermon at Benares. First flight, chapter number 8, class 10 students. Bye bye. See you next video.